ASTER Price Prediction 2025. Why Aster is dismantling all other Perp-DEXs. A new altcoin is currently destroying dYdX, GMX, or even Hyperliquid, and almost no one is talking about it. Its name, Aster. It has only been live for a few days, but already has 100 billion in weekly trading volume and is being directly promoted by Binance founder CZ. If you still believe that Binance will remain the #1 among Perp-DEXs, then this video will completely shock you, and the craziest feature of Aster is yet to come. Welcome to Zenx Crypto, your channel for honest, data-driven altcoin analysis. Seriously, why is everyone suddenly talking about Aster while most people are still mainly focused on dYdX or GMX? An altcoin that shot up to a $3 billion market cap within 11 days, with $100 billion in weekly trading volume? Sounds crazy, but there are reasons why Aster is currently knocking all the other Perp-DEXs off their throne, at least for now. So, what exactly is Aster? Aster is a next-gen DEX, meaning it's a place where you can get both perp and spot trading at the same time. Simply put, it's like Binance but on the blockchain, without any middlemen. What's special is that there are two modes. A simple mode for one-click, MEV-free trading, perfect for beginners, and a pro mode with 24/7 perps, hidden orders, and grind trading. Everything runs on-chain, currently on the Binance chain. Ethereum, Solana, and Arbitrum are coming soon. What problem does Aster solve? Traders lose billions to MEV bots, high fees, or poor execution. But Aster is building the very first DEX system that is MEV resistant. On top of that, you get fair prices without exploitation. So instead of parking your capital inefficiently, you can generate yield, mint tokens, and use ASBNB or USDF as collateral. That means your money works for you while you trade. Let's talk about the technical power. Aster won't just remain a DEX. Behind the scenes, they're continuing to develop. There's the Aster chain, its own layer 1 blockchain with sub-second finality, zero knowledge privacy, and native Perp integration. This is more than just a trading tool. This is a complete DeFi infrastructure that's faster and more secure than anything we've seen before. Before we dive into the full analysis, grab yourself a coffee, leave a like for me, and if you want to become an insider, check out my free group, the Insiders. There, we exchange ideas about exciting altcoin gems and much more. Take a look at everything. The link is in the video description. But a quick disclaimer, my channel is not financial advice, it's purely for informational purposes. Let's always start with the market cap. Just imagine, 11 days ago it was at $1, and today we're talking about a market cap of 3.18 billion. That's extreme, and it's rising faster and faster. By the time this video comes out, it could already be even higher. It shows that the coin is growing incredibly fast. A strong 7 in this area. Now let's talk about the circulating supply. Currently, only 20% is on the market. That means, of course, that a lot more tokens will be released in the future. Think about earlier projects that unlocked quickly where the selling pressure was massive, and in the end the price collapsed. So Aster really needs to manage this well, only a 5 here. Now, what about the roadmap? Aster ultimately wants to build its own layer 1 blockchain with zero knowledge tech, meaning privacy and sub-second finality, plus a training-based system, so all in all, extremely strong. The roadmap is very ambitious but still realistic. The first TGE milestones like multi-chain support have already been delivered. A strong 8 in this area. Behind Aster is actually a team with backgrounds from Asterios and Apex Finance, so two players who already have experience in prep trading, plus with YZ Labs, there are close connections to the Binance world. The team has already proven that they can build billions in TVL in a short time. So here, a strong 8. So what about the narrative? The narrative is of course extremely strong. It turns everything upside down in the crypto space, and they want to kill several birds with one stone: chains, Binance ecosystem, MVO resistance, and yield collateral. So this is exactly the kind of thing the market cares about right now and what fuels the hype. Now, what problem does it actually solve? Traders hate MEV attacks, that is, poor execution and high fees. Aster solves exactly that and even adds a yield-bearing collateral on top, which is why it has 100 billion in weekly volume and rising open interest. Score 9. How energy efficient are they? Proof of stake, multi-chain, ZK proofs? The whole thing is extremely energy efficient, even though no CO2 figures have been published yet. Still, very solid. So, what about capital and investors? They've already raised over $270 million, which is a lot. On top of that, YZ, Elbs, Baker, and Binance as an indirect power boost, extremely strong. Score 9. So, who are the competitors? dYdX, GMX, but also Hyperliquid, but Resta has already overtaken them in open interest and trading volume, which is extremely impressive. And if you're interested in the competition, I've already analyzed many of the altcoins, so check out the playlist. The X universe is extremely exciting. I've already covered a lot of altcoins, and for next weekend I found 2 more low-cap altcoins that are extremely interesting. Almost no one has them on their radar yet for whatever reason. In any case, subscribe to the channel and activate the bell so you don't miss these altcoins. Definitely keep a close eye on this area. Let's move on to marketing. How strong is their marketing? Airdrops, Binance listings, ZK, of course, who keeps posting on X, community campaigns, and weekly updates. In short, their marketing is on point. It's no wonder they're so extremely hyped. A strong 9. Now, how simple is the idea? A DEX with 2 modes. One for beginners and one for advanced pro traders. It's clear, simple, and easy to understand, so here it gets a strong 8. Then, what about the long-term vision? Decentralization, governance, meaning voting rights, buybacks, layer 1. ASTER is thinking extremely big here. That's a strong 9. Then rent, the coin is deflationary. Then max supply, 8 million coins maximum with planned buybacks and burns. Emissions are balanced out by deflationary elements, so they're solidly positioned here. They are. So what does it look like with that? FTV is around 15.37 billion, and as mentioned, the market cap is about 3 billion. That's a ratio of 4.8, which means everything is in the green here, a strong 8. Then how does it look in terms of liquidity? The trading volume is 1.36 billion per day, which is almost 43% of the market cap. That's incredibly strong, so that's another 10. Then, how were the distributions at the beginning? They had fair launches, airdrops, APX swaps, and a clear vesting structure. So, there is a lockup risk, but they have a plan and are well positioned here with a clear lockup period. So, that's a strength of 8. What about the top coin holders? The wallets hold over 118 million tokens, which is still relatively concentrated, but thanks to airdrops, it's more widely distributed than with others. Still, that's that. Then, what about the utility? Voting rights, staking rewards, feature as collateral, etc. Tokens with real functionality, which is why that's also a strength of 9. Now, let's move on to the community. They have an extremely high number of views on X, lots of followers, many posts, thousands of active members on Telegram. The community is engaged, vocal, and hungry, so extremely strong here. Are you also a fan of Aster? Are you a fan of the project? Do you hold Aster? Write it in the comments so that others become aware of videos and analyses like this so they can form their own opinion. Strength 9 in this area. So, what events are coming up in the next 3 months? We have the launch of the Aster chain, then the BU back programs, more Binance integration, and the full rollout of the governance. These all sound like things that could massively drive the price in the near future. Extremely strong, new. Now, after the analysis, I ask myself, could Aster really be the next big thing? They're already huge, but could they even challenge Binance? After all, it comes from CYZ, from Binance. This is definitely not a hype token. There's real substance behind it, a brutal momentum at the moment. But let's take a look at the most important findings. In just a few days, Aster has basically developed from a low cap to a market cap of 3.8 billion with 100 billion in weekly volume. The tokenomics are strong, but the low circulating supply is still a risk. The roadmap is clear. Their own layer 1 chain, the community keeps growing, and there's massive hype. Ultimately, on my ZE ranking list, they only end up in the solid range. The tokenomics just aren't perfect, and a lot of tokens are still coming onto the market. My clear assessment, Aster is definitely an extremely exciting altcoin, but not without risk. It's already grown massively. Whether it can overtake the competition, whether it can overtake Binance, remains to be seen. That remains to be seen. If you want to know whether I have EST, ASTER or other altcoins, what altcoins I have in my personal portfolio, If you want to see the full ZEX ranking list, for example, or later get insight into my X indicator, then check out the XNX Elite. There you get the full package. It's best if you scan the QR code here, or just check out the link in the video description or in the pinned comment. Now, as always, let's move on to the price scenarios. Let's start with the bear scenario. Imagine the market turns completely downward, Bitcoin drops back, altcoins lose momentum, and even strong projects are struggling to stay afloat. Here, maybe $1 or $2 would be possible. But now let's move on to the normal scenario. The market continues to grow, Aster keeps delivering, and the volume rises steadily. Here, we might see $4 to $6. Let's move on to the optimistic scenario. What if Aster not only keeps up, but actually overtakes the competition? dYdX and GMX could lose market share everywhere, and he could fully leverage his connections from CYZ with Binance. What could happen then? The price could then maybe shoot up to $10 to $18. Now let's move on to the very optimistic scenario. Imagine Aster becomes the protocol for preps and chain. So all traders, all beginners, all pros use it. Then we're talking about prices of $20 to $30, maybe even more. Now let's move on to Vision 2030. If Aster survives the bear market, then when the next bull run comes, we can really dream big. Maybe the entire crypto market will grow to $40 trillion. Aster grabs a huge market share, then mathematically $200 would be possible. By the way, if you want to buy Aster or other altcoins, not every exchange always has all altcoins available, but I always link the exchange where you can get the altcoin down below. That way, you can even get yourself a bonus right now. Feel free to scan the QR code here or just check the video description. Alright, now let's take a look at the chart analysis together. What is my CNX indicator doing? Does it make sense to get in now? What am I actually doing now? Am I getting in now? Am I getting out everything now? Yes, hello and welcome to my chart analysis of Aster. First, I want to explain to you how I proceed so you understand the system. I use TradingView along with a custom developed indicator. The problem is, when it comes to finding entry points, I've simply realized you're totally blind. So I need data and ultimately I need a game plan. And as I said, I use my indicator, which is based on overbought or oversold areas. A good example of this is Solana, for instance. Here we basically had the last bull run. Solana really shot up there. That was in 2021 to over 250. Then the bear market came. So the question for me was, when do I actually get in? When is the point where at least there's a chance it won't go any lower, or at least where I get a good entry point? That's why, as I said with my indicator, for example, the higher the time frame, the more long-term the signal is, just as an example. And here, for example, Solana dropped massively during the bear market. Let's see, how much was it? It was almost 96%, you have to imagine that. Here, as you can see, was the low point, not exactly to the cent, but roughly. And here, the indicator actually already signaled an alert that we were really in the oversold area. Way too many people sold, and then there's a green dot. What does that mean for me? No, not to buy immediately, but now I have more data again to make a decision for myself. And here for me, this would have been a kind of entry point for dollar cost averaging, for example. Of course, if you lower the time frame now, it becomes more short term. And here, the 4-hour chart, I really use that more for short-term trades. As an example, here or here, if I had entered here, it would have been a 25% gain in the end. But those are more short-term trades. But now let's move on to Aster. By the way, what's important with such indicators is that you can never actually predict the future. Things can always turn out differently. These are all just things that happened in the past. And as I said, I simply use it for my risk management and to have a game plan. Well, let's get to Aster now. As you can see here with Aster, they only came onto the market a few days ago, and that's why they've also been pushed massively upwards. If you look at this on a 4-hour interval, you can see that was a 350% increase, at least according to the official listing. Now we're already way up. Since the listing, we've gone up about 260%. That means we don't have much data yet, so it's quite difficult, especially with coins that are new to the market. In any case, as you can see here, we've already had a pushback from the all-time high of about 30%. Now it's about 20%. So at the moment, it looks like we're in the middle range. On the 4-hour chart, we're not in the overbought or oversold zone. For me, that means it's actually not an option to get in right now. We've already been pushed up massively, the market cap is already quite high, and I would just wait until there's a bigger dip. For now, I definitely wouldn't get in. Like I said, just wait. When I get in or which zones I also use my Zenix indicator. Everything about how I proceed I share in the Zix Elite. Feel free to check it out. There you'll be fully informed. I really give market updates on the entire market. I show what I'm doing. You can see my portfolio. You basically get the full overview of the market. You actually see everything I do because I share it all in the X Elite, so you save yourself time. If you enjoyed the analysis, then please leave a like. And here I have another analysis for you that's also extremely exciting. It might really surprise you. Here is the analysis, have fun with it, and see you in a bit.